last foul that was called on Asia Wilson.
Yeah, you can see Kelsey Mitchell right there get Wilson in.
The fix was in, but the script got flipped. On the very night Asia Wilson was crowned MVP, the WNBA's Golden Dynasty was publicly humiliated in a chaotic, rigged-looking game that ended in disaster. While referees seemed determined to hand the Las Vegas Aces the win with some of the most bizarre calls you'll ever see, the underdog Indiana Fever refused to play along. What happened next exposed a shocking truth about the league's champions and has sent the entire organization into a full-blown panic. This wasn't just an upset, it was an implosion.
To talk about this really quick, one of the moments in the game that showed blatant inconsistency, right? And just showed, hey, y'all be paying attention to what y'all want to pay attention to, all right, in the WNBA.
The stage in Las Vegas was set for a spectacle. Aja Wilson, the league's undisputed queen, stood beaming with her newly awarded MVP trophy. The media was ready to write their headlines, the fans were ready to celebrate another step towards a title, and the script was already written. The Indiana Fever, decimated by injuries and written off before they even stepped off the bus, were merely supposed to be a footnote in the Aces' glorious story. Instead, from the opening tip, the Fever played like a team possessed. They didn't just compete, they attacked. While the Aces strolled onto the court with an air of invincibility, Indiana came out swinging, turning what was supposed to be a coronation into an all-out war.
This is a part of what people are tired of, fam. Tired of the inconsistencies. And the favoritism that y'all show certain teams with certain jerseys on, man. It's crazy.
If there was one moment that summed up the absurdity of the night, it was the phantom technical foul. Kelsey Mitchell drove hard to the rim, absorbed a blatant foul from Aja Wilson, and finished the layup. It was a textbook and one play. But then, the unthinkable happened. After Wilson complained to the referees, they stopped the game and called a technical foul on Mitchell. The reason? A slight incidental elbow after the whistle. It was a call so outrageously biased it defied belief. The game was filled with the Aces throwing elbows, setting illegal moving screens, and playing a brand of bully ball that went completely ignored. Yet, it was Indiana that got punished. The message was sent loud and clear. The rules were different for the home team, but not even the officials could save the Aces from what was coming.
How does the body feel at this time of the year, given all that you in particular have gone through and are always on the floor?
I'm a little sore, I'm not gonna lie. It's catching up to me, but we're gonna just keep getting warm, keep going out there, try to forget about the pain a little bit. But that's the part of the year. That's everyone. Everyone's playing with a little bit of bumps and bruises, and again, you just kind of forget about that in playoffs.
While the officials seemed determined to tilt the game, they forgot to tell Kelsey Mitchell. She played with a fire that Vegas simply couldn't extinguish, attacking the rim with a ferocity that left the defense scrambling. Every time the Aces tried to build momentum, Mitchell silenced the crowd with another cold-blooded jumper. She was a one-woman wrecking crew, dropping 34 points and making a powerful statement. But this was no solo act. On the defensive end, Aaliyah Boston put on a clinic. She was matched up against the MVP and didn't just slow her down, she completely erased her. The Fever's game plan was executed to perfection. Odyssey Sims controlled the pace like a seasoned veteran, Brianna Turner locked down the paint, and suddenly, the mighty Aces looked utterly lost. Hours after holding her MVP trophy, Aja Wilson fell apart. The pressure applied by Aaliyah Boston and the Fever defense was relentless, and the league's most valuable player had no answers. Her shots clanked off the rim, her frustration was visible to everyone in the arena, and she started begging the refs for bailout calls that never came. By the end of the night, her stat line was a shocking 6 for 22 from the floor. It was a complete meltdown. This game exposed a terrifying truth for the Aces: their entire dynasty is built on the shoulders of one player. When Wilson isn't having a superhuman night, the whole team collapses. We didn't see a dynasty, we saw a team dangerously dependent and utterly exposed. As their frustration mounted, the Aces resorted to tactics that belonged more in a wrestling ring than on a basketball court. They dished out cheap shots, threw their hips into screens, and tried to physically intimidate the Fever into submission. Their primary target was Lexie, who was shoved, elbowed, and knocked to the floor all night long with no calls. But here's the thing about trying to bully a team that has nothing to lose, it only makes them stronger. Hull absorbed the punishment and channeled it into her defense, making life a living nightmare for Jackie Young. Her plus-minus of +24 was one of the highest on the floor, proving her immense value beyond the box score. The Aces thought they could break the Fever with intimidation, but all they did was fuel their fire. The contrast in the post-game press conferences told the whole story. Aces coach Becky Hammon offered a series of lazy excuses, blaming the loss on missed layups and acting as if her team was simply having an off night. It was an insultingly dishonest take that refused to give Indiana any credit. In the other locker room, Kelsey Mitchell was the epitome of class and confidence. She acknowledged the talent of the Aces, but made it perfectly clear that her team came to compete and wasn't going anywhere. She didn't whine about the officiating or the dirty plays. She simply stated that the Fever played harder and proved they belonged. It was the difference between a team in denial and a team that had just made a powerful statement to the entire league. When you strip away the hype and the excuses, the numbers are undeniable. The Fever, a 6 seed missing multiple key players, including their star rookie Caitlin Clark, marched into the Champions Arena and beat them by 16 points, 89-73. On the night she was crowned MVP, A'ja Wilson had one of her worst playoff performances ever. And here's the stat that should send shivers down the spines of Aces fans. In the history of the WNBA, teams that win Game 1 of a best-of-5 series go on to win the series 72% of the time. This wasn't just an upset, it was a seismic shift that turned the entire playoff picture on its head. Before the game, Becky Hammon boldly declared that Indiana hadn't seen the real Aces. She was right, but not in the way she intended. The real Aces were exposed as a team that folds under pressure. The most telling moment came when A'ja Wilson picked up her 4th foul and had to sit on the bench. A tight three-point game immediately ballooned into a 14-point deficit in a matter of minutes. Dynasties don't just collapse when their star player sits down. They have depth, they have resilience, and they have other leaders who step up. What we saw from Vegas wasn't a dynasty. It was a one-woman show with a supporting cast that disappeared the moment things got tough. Their championship pedigree looked like a distant memory. While Vegas revealed its dependency, Indiana revealed its heart. This is a team that has been battling adversity all season. They entered this series without their superstar rookie Caitlin Clark, without veteran leader Sophie Cunningham, and without key role player Sydney Colson. They were supposed to be too thin, too inexperienced, and too overwhelmed to compete. Instead, they showed what true team basketball looks like. Veterans like Odyssey Sims and Natasha Howard played with the poise and grit of champions, controlling the tempo and battling for every rebound. Brianna Turner was a defensive anchor, making Wilson earn every single look. This wasn't a team carried by one star, it was a collective of tough, determined players who trusted each other and fought as one. And so, the narrative has been completely rewritten. The analysts who confidently predicted an Aces sweep are now scrambling to walk back their takes, suddenly talking about Indiana's grit and toughness. The pressure has shifted entirely onto the shoulders of the Las Vegas Aces. They are the defending champions, facing the terrifying possibility of going down 0-2 on their own home floor. The coronation has turned into a crisis. All their weaknesses have been exposed. Their reliance on Wilson is now a glaring liability. Their defense has been proven to be vulnerable, and their composure is officially in question. Game 2 is no longer a formality, it's a desperate fight for survival. A night that was designed to celebrate a dynasty instead exposed its shocking fragility. The Las Vegas Aces aren't untouchable. A'ja Wilson isn't flawless, and the referees can't save them from a team that plays with more heart, more toughness, and more composure. The Indiana Fever walked into the belly of the beast and proved that they are not just a feel-good story, they are a legitimate threat to the throne. The Aces thought this would be easy. Instead, they were embarrassed, outplayed, and exposed. Now, the pressure is entirely on them. The so-called dynasty has been humbled, and if they don't figure something out fast, the 6th seed everyone dismissed might just be the team left celebrating in the WNBA Finals.